Nurse Sue here, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make taco casserole. Now I hear this is a Weight Watcher friendly recipe when served over lettuce, but I don't know exactly. So if there's any Weight Watchers folks out there, let me know, give me some feedback, give me a thumbs up, something if this is Weight Watcher friendly. So the first thing that I've done is I've just browned a pound of ground turkey, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and start throwing this together because it does need a couple minutes on the stove before I put it out here and start to assemble it. So to the ground turkey, I'm gonna go ahead and put in a can of black beans. So I had some black beans and I went ahead and rinsed them. When they can foods, they're just processed, so they need a lot of sodium to process it. So if you have high blood pressure, canned items aren't the best for you. So I do like to give them a quick rinse just to get that extra salt off of there, so that don't have any extra salt that I don't need. The next thing is I've already chopped up half an onion, so it's just a white onion. I have a tablespoon of taco seasoning here. Buy it in bulk because I love my tacos. I'm going to put that in the pan. And then it does call for a can of corn. Again, I'm not a big canned vegetable person because of the sodium and the processing. So I just put some frozen corn, and I'm going to go ahead and just throw this in here on top. And then we want a can of tomato sauce, okay? So I'm going to just put that one on here. Scrape this out real quick, and then I'm going to throw this on the stove behind me, well, behind the camera I should say, real quick, and we're going to let that warm up before we start to assemble. Okay, so I love this recipe because it has ground turkey. So a lot of people think red meat is beef. And so if you've seen my videos before, you know that that's really not the case. I worked for a cardiologist for a long time. He's like, Sue, stop thinking red meat, start thinking legs. So plant-based protein is the best you can do because that doesn't have any legs, right? No plants out there with legs going on. The next best protein you could have would be fish because, again, we don't have legs. And then your next best protein would be chicken and turkey because they only have 2 legs. And then 4 legs is like your beef, your pork, your lamb. We should only be eating that a couple times a week at most, okay? So I love that this recipe does ground turkey. I like to buy in bulk. So sometimes I'll go to Costco, actually most of the time I go to Costco or Sam's Club or someplace like that. I'll buy a bunch of the ground turkey and then I'll come home and I just go ahead and brown it all up. I might have 10 pound in a big roasting pan on the stove. Get it all browned and then divide it up and put it into containers in the freezer. Then when I need it, I just pull it out, boom, it's done. I don't have to worry about thawing and browning then. So I like to do that kind of stuff. I'm really into the bulk and meal prepping and that kind of stuff. So that's just ground turkey in there. Like I said, I went ahead and browned it and then added the beans, which I already told you I rinsed those. I chopped the onion. We have the taco seasoning and the corn and the tomato sauce. That's all there really is to this part of the recipe. So let me give this a quick stir because I hear some crackling back here behind the camera. I do want to get this cooking just a little bit before I start to layer it. All right. Now the next step is I'm going to take that off the stove in just a minute. I'm going to put half of it down in my casserole pan. I felt like this was not enough to do a 9x13, so I just put it in a little bit size smaller. I'm going to put half of it down. I'm then going to put just a little bit of plain Greek yogurt. I'm going to put that over top of the mixture. I'm going to put some salsa on top of that and then cheese, and then I'm going to do a second layer. Now, before I pull that off of there, I do want to tell you about the cheese. I like to buy cheese in bulk as well, so I'll buy the block of cheese and then I grate it myself. It is so much cheaper than buying the already shredded cheese. When you buy the already shredded cheese, they put so many chemicals and things to keep it from sticking together that I don't like that. So I just buy it in bulk and then I'll cut it into sections. You want to wrap it in foil. Foil is the key. When you keep cheese in plastic, it molds faster. So I take the big bulk, I cut it up into like my 8-ounce sections. I wrap it in foil and then put them in a Ziploc bag, put them in the freezer. So some people say, oh, I don't like to freeze my cheese because it crumbles. Here's the trick to that one. Take that cheese and put it in the refrigerator for a day or two and let it thaw out. That way it does not crumble. Again, it's cheaper, and I know it's cheese. It doesn't have all that extra stuff that you get when you're buying the already shredded cheese, okay? So, and then I also have some tomatoes diced up and some onion. So let me grab the skillet here. And I'm going to go ahead and start to layer this. So I'm going to just take half of this recipe here that I've got cooking here on the stove. Let me just get this stirred up good for a minute. And then I'm going to put half of this on the bottom of my pan. So just get this scooped out here. Now again, I believe this is one Weight Watcher point if you serve it over lettuce, but someone's going to help me out that does Weight Watchers. They're going to tell me if that's really true or not. All right, so I've got one layer down in this pan. Just kind of looks like that. I'm doing this really quickly, you guys. So if it looks kind of messy, that's on me. And then I'm going to just take some of this Greek yogurt, which is going to act kind of like a sour cream in this recipe. And then I'm going to do half of the salsa and just kind of spew it around. You like my words there? We're just going to spew that salsa. Half my cheese here. And then I'm going to do that all over again with this mixture here. Just going to put this other half on here. I think I picked just the right size pan, actually. I was worried that it didn't sound like a lot to put into a big 9x13 pan, but I think I was right. So let me just put this one on here. Now, in theory, you would have left your onion and corn and everything cooking longer, but since I'm going to put this in the oven to bake anyways, I was not real worried about it. All of those flavors are going to kind of melt together once it hits the oven. All right. Scrape this one out. Then I'm going to do the other part of the yogurt and just kind of put it around again, spreading that out just a little bit to act like our sour cream. And then I'm going to take our salsa, kind of spread that around so we got that salsa on top. And I'm sure if you try to find this recipe online, it will look way prettier than mine, but bear with me, guys, okay? All right, and then I'm going to top this with some more cheese. Then I'm going to put this in the oven, and it will bake at 350 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes, so really we're just kind of warming it up. And then when it comes out, I'm going to top it with my green onion tops and my tomato chunks. Then I'll cut it or scoop it out, serve it over top of lettuce, and you've got a nice healthy dinner, but it's going to feed the family and it's going to be really healthy and tasty. Of course, who doesn't love tacos, right? You could even throw that over rice if you wanted to, just as another idea, but of course, lettuce would be healthier. But anyways, thanks for stopping by. I hope you'll give the recipe a try and let me know what you think.